Hello and welcome to Mindful Meditation, Season 4, Episode 2. My name is Allison Barnett and I own Patina Gallery here in Santa Fe, New Mexico with my husband Ivan Barnett. And we are coming to you live this morning from the studio and home of Kay Kahn. Kay is here with us.
Hi.
Hi Kay, welcome
Hi,
to our Mindful Meditation. I started doing, I'm going to fold you into this conversation. I'm bringing Terry Sullivan into this conversation because we want to talk today about the Nature Conservancy and our wonderful collaboration between the Nature Conservancy and Terry Sullivan of the Nature Conservancy and the way that we're donating funds to help them with their canyon preserve on Upper Canyon Road. So let's see if we can get the Nature Conservancy folded into this conversation. Hold on one moment while I try to get him in here. Let's see. I invited him to join. Hopefully he's going to come in. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for him to join, for Terry to join the conversation, let's see. Invite. Here we go. It's really important that we have this wonderful conversation with Terry and with Kay as we talk about this benefit. Basically, before he joins, it says that he's unable to join, but maybe it'll happen again. Let's just give it a moment here. Let's see. Invite Nature Conservancy to join. There you are, Terry.
I'm Allison Barnett, and I own Patina Gallery here in Santa Fe. Terry, you are the director of the New Mexico Nature Conservancy. And Kay is a wonderful artist who has lived in Santa Fe for most of her life. And we did this wonderful collaboration. And we've collaborated with you, Terry, at the Nature Conservancy for many years. In 2013, we did Picnic for the Planet, again, for Earth Day, where we asked a number of artists to make and decorate picnic baskets to celebrate Earth Day. And then we had our friend Tommy DePaulo, who sadly, and we lost him in the last year, but he was a wonderful book illustrator, and he did a whole series of paintings to celebrate and talk about water issues in New Mexico. And then my husband made a series of garden sculptures. But this one is unique, Terry. Tell us about the Canyon Preserve on Upper Canyon Road and how the project that we're doing, and I'll talk about in a moment, will benefit the nature preserve up there.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Allison and Kay, great to see you there in the background, and thanks everybody for joining in. Again, my name is Terry Sullivan. I'm the State Director of the Nature Conservancy here in New Mexico, and really grateful. First, let me go back, Allison. You mentioned this long history of partnership that we've had going all the way back to 2013. And I think one of the things that really jumps out to me is we live in this extraordinary community of Santa Fe where, you know, it's one of the most incredible places in the United States where we have this amazing community, this group of people who are into the arts, culture, and the environment. And we live in this extraordinary landscape filled with artists and people who really contribute to the community in a lot of different ways. And the things that you have done, Allison, through Patina Gallery, you and Ivan, have just been fabulous because it's brought different parts of the community together for us in ways that we haven't been able to do before. You know, members of the arts community, members of the cultural community, and members of the nature and outdoor community have gathered at your gallery for some of these wonderful events over the years. And you mentioned the Picnic for the Planet back in 2013. That one was especially special for all of us. It was just a wonderful celebration. It was, you know, full of whimsy and wonderful art, and just everybody had such a good feeling from that exhibit. Of course, it really just had a great vibe. We had so much fun.
And we raised a lot of money for the Nature Conservancy.
And absolutely raised a lot of great money to support our projects and programs. I want to thank you. And this collaboration with Kay, I think, is just kind of the latest manifestation of that wonderful partnership. As you mentioned, it's the proceeds will go to support the Santa Fe Canyon Preserve. And Santa Fe Canyon Preserve, some people may not even know, but it's located only 2 miles from the downtown plaza. Off of Upper Canyon Road.
Yes.
It's got a wonderful natural, human and natural history. The ancestral Tewa people referred to the area as the White Shell Canyon. And of course, in the 1600s and 1700s, when Santa Fe was just getting established, a lot of crops were grown there that were then brought into town at the plaza to be sold for food.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah. And then later, it became the first reservoir site. In the 1880s, a stone dam was built there. And a few years later, 2 Mile Dam was constructed there in the 1890s. And so there was a dam and reservoir there for 100 years that was decommissioned in the 1990s and by Public Service Company of New Mexico. When they took the dam down, they donated the property that had formerly been the site of the reservoir to the Nature Conservancy. So we now have 575 acres there. We have a 1.5 mile trail loop. And we've done a lot of restoration there through the years. Willow trees, cottonwood trees. We have a flowing stream. The Santa Fe River flows through the property. And fabulously, the property, because of the water and the cottonwoods and willows, was colonized by beaver. And so we have family beaver who have built beaver dams there.
How fabulous is that? I love it.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful place, just 2 miles from downtown Santa Fe, and easy for people to access. It's really been a great platform site for us to allow people to get out and enjoy nature.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Santa Fe is multicultural, but also the fact that we have so much, the proximity to be on great trails and to be surrounded by nature and the arts and the diversity of people. All of that adds to the beauty of our wonderful city. And so, I really want to give credit to my husband, because he's the one, Ivan, who thinks of these great ideas and our involvement and how to get involved in the community. And we've loved working with the Nature Conservancy. So I want to say that, about a year ago, he asked Kay to think about how she could participate in this initiative. And he thought of the idea of a backpack, which, Kay, initially for you, I'm going to let you talk a little bit, was challenging.
Well, at first he wanted me to embroider an entire backpack, which would require it to be taken apart into sections, and then each area embroidered, and then somebody else would have to put it all back together.
And when you say embroidery, pardon my interruption, but you're wearing a necklace, as I am, so people can really get a sense of what you do. And then I'm going to hold the backpack as you talk. Okay, so talk more about that.
So the backpack, so I ended up, Ivan and I got together and we went through looking at backpacks because we needed a flat panel. I decided to stitch a panel that I could attach, and I could do something more elaborate, because backpacks are complicated. They have lots of liners in different areas. So yes. I needed an area. So this one has a zipper on the side, so the front panel is separate, so I could sew it onto it. And so that worked out really well.
So that really opened the gateway for you to be able to.
Yes, because if it has lots of scrunchy pockets and things, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
So that's what you did. And tell us about the inspiration.
Well, it was for the Nature Conservancy, obviously. And
I'm going to hold it up while you talk. Yeah.
I was thinking about the plants that we have here in Santa Fe. And one of the most ubiquitous plants you see when you're driving around Santa Fe is the scarlet globe mallow. And it looks like this little scrubby desert. One? That's the orange. So these scrubby, except they're tiny. So this is artistic license. I've made enlarged them.
Okay.
By 100%.
You're allowed.
Anyways, you drive around Santa Fe, you'll see these scrubby little things along the side of the road with these beautiful coral blossoms. It's the scarlet globe mallow, but it's called the Cowboy's Delight, which I also like.
Cowboy's Delight, yes.
So because it's really a desert plant. So I just decided to stick to the plants that I would see all the time. So, in the warmer seasons, obviously, not in the winter. So the scarlet globe mallow, the aster, and the larkspur are plants that you'll see everywhere. So that's what I decided to stick with. And, I only had limited space, so I couldn't put every plant on earth in there. So
yes. And you made this fabulous panel, and yes. So it's quilted?
Yes, it's very thick. It's like probably 2 or 3 layers of felt. And then I've stitched over with, it's all a silk background. I've appliqued, I've embroidered.
And then there's a few beads. So it's pretty sturdy. I mean, it's
very sturdy.
It's very sturdy. It's beautifully attached to the backpack.
And there's some little three-dimensional elements on the
Three-dimensional,
large
and I'll put this on. This is, not only is it a great piece for the embellishment that Kay has put on it, but as a backpack in and of itself, and I'll sort of turn around, and there's pictures of it on our website and our beautiful model, but it's a really sturdy pack, and then of course it's so gorgeous from behind, from the back view of it, but it'll hold a laptop, it has a USB port, it has multiple pockets, and not only is it adorned with this beautiful piece by Kay, but the Nature Conservancy also has gone around town, and some of our favorite Santa Fe businesses have made donations, and those are all inside the pack. So there's a wealth of donation and love in this backpack. All 100% of the proceeds, all of Patina Gallery's effort over the last 2 years to get this initiative going, all of our efforts. My husband drove to Albuquerque this morning to be on the news to try to promote the backpack, and being here with Kay, and the donations and the wonderful gifts from everyone. 100% of these donations will go to the Nature Conservancy. So some of those funds, Terry, tell us how those funds will be used.
Yeah, thank you, Allison. And it is just such a gorgeous backpack. I got to see it. I came across Ivan a few months ago up at Santa Fe Canyon Preserve, and lo and behold, he had the backpack. And
oh, that's right. We were doing a photo shoot with, yes.
Just happened to be there at the same time, and it just really struck me how wonderful it captures the vibrancy and the energy and the color of the preserve. So I'm just really grateful. Kay, thank you so much, and Allison, and thank you so much for this wonderful collaboration. And as you mentioned, the funds that we raise through the sale of this backpack will go to support some new initiatives we have going at the Santa Fe Canyon Preserve. You know, we have had about 30,000 visitors a year going to the preserve over the last few years, and we suspect that has increased significantly since the beginning of COVID. So, you know, the preserve really is a fabulous local resource for families, for school groups, and just for individuals who want to go out and hike. There's, as I mentioned, a 1.5 mile hiking trail. Yes. But what we've realized is that we've had the preserve for about 20 years, and it's a time for some updates. Particularly, we really wanted to focus on making the preserve more accessible for other members of the community. And so we're in the process of completing new Americans with Disability Act certified trail system. And so that will open the preserve to people who have different physical challenges. We're putting in trilingual signage. So the signage will be English, Spanish, and Braille, which is something very different. Yeah. And so, you know, basically we're in the midst of doing that right now. We're adding to the parking area, putting in ADA accessible parking spots for visitors. And we're going to create some, you know, very modest natural shelters to provide people with the opportunity to sit down and just kind of experience the preserve in a different. So we're really excited about that. And it's been challenging during COVID because trying to get materials, trying to get the infrastructure in place has taken us a little while longer than we had hoped. But over the course of the next year, we expect to have all of those things in place.
So the renovations have begun?
The renovations have begun. We completed the upper part of the trail system, the widened access trail. And the city of Santa Fe has started working on the parking area to expand that with us. And then the last thing we're going to be adding in is a ADA ramp up the steep part of the slope to allow people to access the preserve in a more gradual way so that they can go up either in wheelchairs or whatever assistance they need.
Oh, that's great. That's so terrific. And I want to say we're making the backpack available for sale tomorrow morning, I think at 10 a.m. It is one of a kind. There's only one of them. This backpack and all of the donations inside is $5,000, and it will sell first come, first served. But I would say that if you're interested in making a donation to the Nature Conservancy, please do so. It's such a wonderful, there's a global outreach to the Nature Conservancy, but in New Mexico, we really want to support with everything that they're doing to preserve, the preserve for generations to come, and different parts of, the state where Nature Conservancy steps in. So this is $5,000. Again, it will be available in the morning. In addition to that, I also want to say that Kay makes jewelry for the gallery. So she takes these ideas of mosaics and fragments. So as I mentioned, I'm wearing a necklace, and Kay did a whole series of necklaces, maybe half a dozen in the last few months, completely inspired by nature. So for example, the piece that I'm wearing, and I'll angle this down, this is, well, I'm calling it a hummingbird moth, but you say it's a sphinx. It's a sphinx moth, and I'm just going to get a little closer so you can see the incredible detail on this neck piece. So we sell Kay's one-of-a-kind necklaces, and of course she's got one on as well. So come in and see this collection. This one has the moth. We have a piece with hummingbirds. And then you have other pieces that are sort of picking up on the detail.
The wildflowers, yes.
Yes, that are done into this piece. So if you miss the opportunity to acquire this fantastic art pack, again, try to really make a donation. Consider making a donation to the Nature Conservancy, or coming into Patina and taking a look at these fantastic necklaces made by Kay. And Kay, you've always been inspired by nature since you were a little girl.
Yes.
You've been playing with stones and with design, and,
Yes.
and so you grew up in an artistic family. And
No,
you
I'm the only
didn't.
one.
You're the only one.
Yes, I grew up in a house surrounded by woods. So I spent my entire childhood in the woods.
Okay.
So there were old
How
logging
fitting.
trails there.
How fitting.
And you just didn't know where you were ending up when you walked through the woods, because the old logging trails would lead to somewhere or nowhere. And it was just fascinating. But I'd also just like to add quickly that I have mobility issues. And I cannot at this time go to the preserve, so I'm going to be really excited when I can go.
Oh, this is
and
terrific.
somebody can push me in the wheelchair through.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
this
excited about
is
that.
terrific. So this even has more meaning for you now.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who has joined our conversation this morning about the Nature Conservancy. And Terry, I just want to say, the Nature Conservancy, I know you reach out globally. I mean, you're all over the world. But the New Mexico, State Conservancy, you touch all areas of the state, and we're just so honored that you're here. I know your offices are downtown, and again, the Nature Conservancy can use all of our support, large or small, to really help move things along, to keep our trails active and preserved for future generations. And I would say the same is true for Patina Gallery. We've been here 23 years, and we want to stay open for future generations too, for art lovers. And so join the Nature Conservancy and join Patina in this wonderful Earth Day celebration, celebrating 20 years of the Canyon Preserve on Upper Canyon Road. And again, thank you all for joining our program. Terry, thank you for your time this morning, and Kay, thank you for your time this morning, and everyone who joined our program. And Terry, thank you. We look forward to doing another collaboration with you in the future. And if you haven't had a chance to see the backpack, please join us at Patina. It will be in our window display when I return to the gallery within the hour. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Allison.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
Okay,
Thank you
bye,
both.
Terry.
Bye.
Bye, Kay. Thank you.